Hello, everyone. December 2018, the last video team update of the year. Today, or this month, I want to focus on music. It has come to our attention through Maria, mainly, watching test outs, that we need to nail down our definition of acceptable bar intensity music. So currently, up until this point, our stance has been stick within our recommended BPM range of 128 to 134, and you're pretty much good to go. Well, the problem is that BPM is not a foolproof way of ensuring we have the right type of music in our bar intensity classes. You see, you can have a perfect BPM in our range, and the energy is still low. It's still not an adequate song for a group fitness class or for a bar intensity class. So while I still firmly believe that music is, subject to each individual person, that you're never going to have a playlist where every single song on the playlist is something that every single person in your class likes to hear. So I believe firmly in that, and I do believe in flexibility, but we need to, in our trainings, we need to start defining this a little bit more in terms of acceptable music, and making sure that we utilize this type of acceptable music while we're conducting our training. So I'm going to give you some examples of songs that have a high BPM but low energy. I'm going to talk about ways that we can help define what an appropriate energy level is. And you'll see when I send the email, I'll be linking to these songs, and I'm going to actually be linking to a blog post that I found to be helpful for me personally to understand and to define what an acceptable energy level is. So again, I want the freedom and flexibility, but at the same time, we have to narrow down and better explain what it is we're looking for in our music. So I'm going to take a look at some things that I have on my screen over here. So apologize for me turning my head. Okay. We had, so you think about BPM, right? And if you're solely basing off BPM, then you could take a song, Mariah Carey, We Belong Together. I don't know if I play it, if you'll be able to hear it. You can hear it, I hope so. But Mariah Carey, We Belong Together. That is not a song that we would put smack dab in the middle of our bar intensity class. I hope we wouldn't. But it has a BPM of 140. Now that's higher than our BPM range, but you think, oh my gosh, it's a BPM of 140. I'm going to get some fast, intense moves going. It's really going to pump my class up. No, not at all. I'm using a tool through Spotify. It's called Sort Your Music. And on this tool, it has an energy level of 47, which is low. Typically, my energy levels are between 75 and 95, usually in the 80-90 range. So an energy level of 47 is very low. But energy level is very relative. People use different scales. So this is the scale for Sort Your Music. Okay. However, you could look at a song like Fantasy by Mariah Carey, which I'll play. Fantasy, I would much rather play Fantasy, although I wouldn't, but I would much rather play Fantasy by Mariah Carey in my class. It only has a BPM of 102. So again, it's not the best choice, but its energy level is 73. You want to get up and move a little bit more to Fantasy than you do to We Belong Together. Another example, pulled Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men, End of the Road, playing it. Slow. I mean, so slow. Seems slow. Low energy. BPM is 150. Are you kidding? 150 BPMs for End of the Road. Energy level 42. Motown Philly, Boyz II Men. Like that song. That has an energy level of 90. 90. I would much rather play that in my class. If I had to pick between the two, I'm going to pick Motown Philly, but the BPM is only 114. So you can see by these examples with 2 Mariah Carey songs and 2 Boyz II Men songs that unfortunately BPM alone is not the only factor. It's not the foolproof method to determining your music in your playlist. You know, we had an instructor do a test out, and she had some songs on there. They all met the BPM requirements, but they just weren't the best choice of music for a group fitness class. For example, Sheryl Crow, A Change Would Do You Good. I'll play it for a moment. It has a BPM of 127. It actually has a pretty decent energy level of 75, but this is going to bring me to my second point. My second point, other than looking at, you know, overall energy and BPM, is we really need to lean towards songs that are DJ'd in some way, shape, or form, for the most part. DJing in the sense of it's either by it's a workout mix, or it's by Remix Workout Factory, Power Music Workout. You're getting your music through an app such as Rock My Run or Fit Radio. These are songs that are DJ'd. Some are DJ'd specifically for fitness to the 32 count, or you could go with other songs that are DJ'd by just worldwide known DJs, such as Armin van Buuren, Tiesto, Marshmello, Calvin Harris. And these are DJs that partner with other artists, Selena Gomez, Taylor Swift. I'm naming the people that I like, but they partner with other singers to create music that has more of a beat, that has a little bit more energy. So typically, something like a Sheryl Crow with no remix or DJ intervention, it's just not the right type of song to play in your class, unless you're doing some sort of throwback or theme. There's an article that I read that helps, for me, it helps break down energy. So I'm going to share it with you, but some of the points to talk about is they do a scale of energy on 1 to 10. So this Sort Your Music, the Spotify tool that I like to use, that energy level, I don't know what their scale is, maybe 1 to 100. But this one's on a scale of 1 to 10. And in reading this article, I feel that our bar intensity songs that we use for bar intensity classes ideally are at an energy level of 7, 6 or 7. The way they define the energy level 7 is 5 girls, a group of girls, walk into a bar, they walk into a club. The song that they hear when they walk in, and I'll say when they walk in before any drinks, they're sober, they hear a song. Do they want to go to the dance floor first? Is that the song that wants to make you get up and dance? That is a 7. Now, there are other songs that you love that get you excited, that you sing along to, but those aren't the songs that you're going to dance to at a club. Those are going to be the songs that you play on the jukebox, or you have on your Spotify playlist that you listen to when you're, cleaning around the house or doing some work at your computer. There's a difference between songs that you like and love and evoke emotion. Then there are songs that truly make you want to get up and dance. You might not even know the words, but the beat, it's just you've got to move. And that's what we're looking for. And sometimes it's hard to differentiate between the songs that you personally like, that you want to sing to in your car, the top of your lungs, versus the songs that just make the general population want to move. We need the latter. What just makes people want to just move. Again, 5 girls walk into a club, a song is playing. Are they going to hit the dance floor first? And that's what we want. We don't want as this article talks about, we don't want the levels 8, 9, and 10. This is like, think rave music. Think 2 in the morning, all of a sudden this beat hits and everyone's arms go up in the air, and it's this crazy amount of energy, but can only be sustained for about a minute before it has to drop back down again. We don't want it so high, but we just want a nice, happy beat. Now, we could take it a little bit lower to a 5 or a 6. Sometimes, I mean, it can't be up here all the time, but I like 7, and I like their analogy of girls on the dance floor at a club. I like that analogy as a guide and a recommendation. So what can we do from here? I'm going to share my screen and show you a couple notes that I think would be helpful for you to jot down in your manual. One moment. Nope, that's not it. So this is the article, but let me show you the manual. So we talk about music on page 6 and 7 of the manual. This is page 7. So page 7. I suggest you add in a bullet point right here. You can see I typed it in for you. Choose songs with a high energy level. Okay, so it's right before the BPM. So you can do it before or after. But this is where you talk about, you give the examples. You could give the Mariah Carey examples of it has a high BPM, but a low energy level. This is where you give the analogy of 5 girls walking into a club. This is where you say, these are not the songs that you're going to play on the jukebox or you're going to hear at your local pub. These are songs that are going to want to make you move. I think it's important to talk about energy level in conjunction with BPM. Okay. In addition, this isn't something I talked about yet, but under playlist creation on page 7, last bullet point, create a gapless playlist between songs. So it's important to keep the beat always going. If you use, I think it's like an Apple Music, iTunes, I don't believe they allow you to do gapless, or maybe they do. They might have changed it. So I may not be speaking properly. But if you use Spotify and you leave your standard settings, there's going to be a pause between songs. So there's a setting in Spotify that you can go and you can create these gapless playlists, and where one song bleeds into the next. So there's always a beat. Now, if you purchase your music, it's typically gapless. If you use any of the apps like Fit Radio or Rock My Run, those are gapless. But we've seen test outs where there's a gap between songs, and it just, it breaks a little bit of the energy. It breaks a little bit of the flow. So that's another important point to talk about in your trainings, because that's the type of feedback Maria is giving when she watches these test out videos. I hope I've covered everything on music. I think I have. And again, these are just, as we observe and as we watch, things are going to change a little bit. We're realizing what we need to clarify more on. And so these are really simple things. You can just add your own little notes into your manual. And please be sure to express this to your trainees. And please be sure to pick songs that fit within what we are preaching. If you have any questions on music, let me know. Other than that, I just want to first thank those of you, or all of you. I mean, just thank you. But thank you to those of you who contributed to a gift for me. Quite honestly, completely unexpected. And let's not make this a habit, but I very much appreciate my gift card to my favorite my favorite nail place. Looking forward to a couple manicures and pedicures, thanks to all of you. I got a couple other gift cards and goodies as well. So I very much appreciate your gift, but more than that, I appreciate your time, your effort, your energy. Hopefully you listening to me once every month. When you go out and when you do these trainings, trust me, I know how much energy it takes out of you. It's not just that time that you're there, which is very precious and it's a lot of time, but it's the time before and it's the time after of you recovering and just your overall mental energy. So I appreciate all of that. I'm very thankful for you being a part of this team. This team is nothing with me alone, and I can't wait to keep growing it in 2019. We each year since I started this for almost 5 years ago, each year has gotten better. I mean, better in terms of the product that we offer, better in terms of, the people that we have, better and bigger. I mean, the people that I started with on day one, they're very near and dear to me. So I'm not saying that, better in terms of better people, but just better in terms of the growth of our team. Better in terms of sales, just numbers. We're growing from every angle, and there will be no change in 2019. We're going to have a bigger team. We're going to have more products and offerings, and we're going to have continued growth. And I'm very excited about that. And again, I thank all of you for being a part of it, whether it be big or small. It's all big in my mind because everything that we do is so important. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to those of you who celebrated Hanukkah, and Happy New Year. I cannot wait to speak to you all in 2019. Take care.